What's up, friends and fellow agents? Have y'all been paying attention to the news? I hope so, because there's a lot going on these days. So I was watching through, my usual social media clips and things like that, and watching these people that are really upset about what's going on with the immigration policy in the U.S. And they are attacking and accosting law enforcement officers that are out there trying to do their job. But what stood out to me was the videos that I saw that the officers that these people are attacking, because they assume they're with immigrations, had nothing to do with immigrations or helping immigrations or anything in the ballpark of immigrations. But because of the way they were dressed, people are still attacking them and still going after them and giving them a hard time. So got me to thinking, there's a lot of bondsmen out there, a lot of bounty hunters, a lot of agents out there that they dress in attire that makes it really unclear who they are and who they work for. And something you guys might want to think about. I've always been a huge fan of uniforms. When me and my team roll out, most of the time we are all in the same uniform. We have bail enforcement agent all over us, on the sleeves, on the front, on the back, on our patches. We don't use the patches and the titles that leave people wondering. People know exactly who we are once they get close enough to read the patches. So I know in some states you have to put this or you have to put that, or you're not allowed to wear certain things, but there's a lot of guys out there that intentionally wear the patches and the decals that make them look as close as possible to some sort of federal or some sort of state law enforcement agency. And I think that's a mistake, because they're going to wind up in a situation with everything that's going on where they're going to wind up having to defend themselves. And I'm not against anybody defending themselves if it's necessary, but I am against putting yourself in a position where you're more likely to have to take that step than if you were to take precautions. We're all about safety in our company, and it's something that you guys that are out there that take the job seriously, but that the things that you're wearing ride a fine line. You might want to consider, at least for now. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not your daddy, but until things level out, you might want to consider being very clear of who you are and why you're there. Because remember, if you do wind up having to defend yourself, especially if you have to defend yourself in a lethal way, you might beat the rap, but you're going to take the ride. And it's going to be a very expensive ride. So take advantage of this time to do away with all that mess. You don't need it anyway. I don't know why people are ashamed of having bondsman or bail enforcement agent or bounty hunter on their gear. It's a cool job. It's an amazing career. I don't know why you'd be ashamed of it. But on the other hand, if you do wind up having to defend yourself, you don't have the same protections and resources and legal funds that law enforcement have. You're gonna wind up in a bad situation financially if you don't wind up in a bad situation legally. Just something to think about, something to keep in mind. Just be safe out there. Watch your back, and remember, bail bonding isn't what we do, it's who we are. Stay safe.